Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this OSMINE webinar on new supply opportunities in Peru. I'm Sheldon Varco, Manager International Projects here at OSMINE, and I'm very pleased today to be joined by our partners at the Peru Mining Innovation Hub, Goldfields, Nexa Resources, and Poderosa Mining Company to explore our latest opportunities through the Global Mining Challenge program. I'll introduce you to our speakers a little later in the session, but before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm hosting this webinar from the lands of the Gadigal people. I also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which you all work today. Next slide, please. For today's webinar, we will look at an overview of OSMINE's Global Mining Challenge program. We will then provide some details on 5 supply opportunities and technical challenges currently available to the market. And we'll then step you through the submission process and schedule for applying to these challenges. Following the presentation, there will be an opportunity for audience Q&A. You can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to send your questions through at any time. And you can also upvote on the questions that you most want answered. I definitely encourage you to utilize this opportunity to gain more information about the challenges from our speakers. Next slide, please. The supply opportunities discussed today have been developed through OSMINE's Global Mining Challenge program. This is an exciting new initiative funded by the Australian Department of Industry, Science and Resources, and it aims at establishing collaboration between mining companies and METS suppliers to jointly develop innovative mining solutions. Working with our partners in Peru, New Caledonia and other markets, OSMINE will utilise our open innovation framework to fast-track technology development and provide an opportunity for companies to solve critical challenges globally. And I'll introduce you to our partners in Peru just shortly. Next slide, please. For those companies joining us today who aren't familiar with OSMINE, we are Australia's National Industry Association for the Mining Equipment, Technology and Services, or METS sector. We aim to drive the sustainability of our industry through championing technology advancement and facilitating collaboration within our network. With over 670 corporate members nationally, OSMINE promotes the Australian METS sector around the world and hosts a range of networking opportunities domestically. So if you aren't yet a member, make sure to have a conversation with one of our teams soon. Next slide, please. Now we'll move into the section of today's presentation that overviews the supply opportunities available. But before we do, I would like to say a big thank you to Pamela and her team at the Peru Mining Innovation Hub, who have partnered with OSMINE on this initiative. They are the preeminent organisation that facilitates innovation and collaboration in the Peru mining sector and brings together the industry and ecosystem to solve challenges. So the Peru Mining Innovation Hub has been instrumental in creating links and promoting the program to their partners, and OSMINE would really like to thank them for their participation. And you'll hear from Pamela soon. Now, moving on to the supply opportunities. Next slide, please. The first challenges today explored will come from Goldfields, one of the world's largest gold mining companies. We have Luis Noriega and Haida Mamani joining us today to explore these challenges at the Cerro Cajona project in Peru. Now, these challenges relate to gold recovery from CST tailings and implementing a low-grade ore recovery method. We look forward to hearing about these opportunities, and I'd like to welcome you to present now. Thanks. Do we have you there, Luis and Haida?
Yes, I think that I have to present this slide.
Yes, perfect.
Yes, the idea of this project is to recover the gold, the gold into the thinner scavenger tailings. The idea is to explore new technologies that can help us to recover the gold that is finally disseminated into the sulfate matrix, specifically copper sulfide and iron sulfate. The idea is to get new technologies, as I told you, in order to record as much as we can of these particles, maybe using total oxidation pressure or something technology similar to this in order to get the opportunity that these tiny particles of gold can interact with the cyanide in order to recover. So obviously that the first thing is to use cyanide, but in the second phase is maybe to use some component that could be less, can generate problems into the environment or final disposal.
Excellent. Would you like us to move to the second challenge now?
Yes. The next slide, please. The other project is related to implement the ore sorting into the low head grades, the stockpile, low head grade stockpile. The idea is to increase the grade in copper and gold using this technology, and we can reduce the quantity of material that we process. And increasing the head grade, we can increase the production of metals related to the copper and gold. So the idea is to explore technologies can get a good performance in our conditions at mine. And the idea is to explore these technologies and get what is the most the technology that we can implement into the mine, specifically in the crushing stage, in order to increase the head grade, specifically in gold and copper.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Haider.
Okay.
Just wanted to check, Lewis, did you have anything to add to the presentation?
Thank you, Sheldon. I guess I already mentioned the challenge. We have these two challenges. We know that there are great technologies that we can get, and I hope some supplier can be interested in this challenge and provide us some solutions. Thank you.
Perfect. So thanks a lot for that, Haider and Louise, and we really appreciate Goldfields joining us today. As mentioned to the audience, you do have the opportunity for audience Q&A, so please use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to send your questions over. The challenges from Goldfields are also live on our website as well, so you can find more information there. Next slide, please. So
sorry,
on...
one question.
Yes.
One question. If we present this, maybe some people can get us or interact us with through or using some questions. It's only we expose the slides, or we have to answer some questions at this in this moment of the presentation.
Sorry, Haider. Yes, we will come to questions at the end of the presentation after all the slides.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Great. So I'd like to now welcome William Villa, who's the head of innovation at Poderosa Mining Company, and he'll be supported in his presentation by Pamela Antonioli from the Peru Mining Innovation Hub. So Poderosa is a gold mining company that carries out mining from narrow underground sub-levels and also has 2 smelters for gold recovery. They have a very interesting supply opportunity relating to generating value from mining waste rock, and we're very pleased to have them online to explore this today. So welcome, William and Pamela.
Thank you, Sheldon. I am going to explain the challenge, but of course, William is the owner of the challenge. So any questions, I'll be helping with the translation. So some information we would like to share with the audience is that Poderosa is a gold mine. This challenge scope is to pilot in Santa Maria. That is a mining unit. To give you an idea, it has around 3,000 tons a day of waste rock. But if the results are positive, they are willing to scale the solution to all the company. Also, this approach of circular economy is a strategic objective of the company. So they are aiming zero waste rock, and also transforming it into a useful product and sustainable way of transforming. It's very valuable. As you mentioned, Poderosa is an underground mine. It has narrow tunnels, and of course the description is that to exploit the ore, significant waste rock is generation during the process. Nowadays it's stored on site or backfilled into underground chambers using hydraulic and mechanical technologies. So they see an opportunity to use this waste rock in a very useful way. Can you change this slide, please? So the idea is to be sustainable, and for this project to achieve at least 50% of waste material generated in Santa Maria production unit. Some of the valuable elements considered for the solutions that you're going to apply is sustainability, of course, also to take in account that there are 2 projects under development, one of a crushing plant, and the other one is an ore sorting project. The idea is we are open to see solutions that avoid the transportation of the waste rock. So any solution dealing with the waste rock underground is valuable. Also to take in account that there are narrow spaces, as I told, and also something that is positive is that the energy used and water used in any type of solutions should be environmentally friendly. So those are the main features that Poderosa is seeking in the solution. The time for this implementation of the pilot will be 1 year. That's it, Sheldon.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for that, Pamela, and thanks for your support on the project. And thanks to William for putting forward that challenge. It's a very unique challenge and a great opportunity, which I'm sure if a solution is found will be relevant for many other mines as well. So if you have any questions regarding the Poderosa challenge, please pop those through on the Q&A box. Moving on to the next slide, please. So we're pleased today to be also joined by the team at Nexa Resources and their innovation team. So they will be exploring 2 challenges, and Nexa is a Brazilian-based polymetallic mining company with interest in Peru, and that specialize in zinc production along with copper, lead, silver, and gold as byproducts. They have some exciting opportunities to discuss relating to automotive fleet decarbonisation and predicting production in the zinc smelting process. So I'll now hand over to Rodrigo and Cal from their team for their presentation.
Sheldon, I'm going to introduce next, and then the second challenge, Rodrigo will present. So thank you, and thank you all the audience for joining us today. So at first, my name is Caio. I am one of the project leaders at Nexa Resources, and I'd like to give you a little highlights of the company. As Sheldon told you, we are a global player and play an important role in the zinc market. We're the fifth largest zinc producer in the world. And one of the difference of Nexa is that we are operating fully integrated, integrating mining and smelting sites. So also I'd like to mention that we have a qualified team of R&D engineers in charge of find out new solutions, perform industrial trials, and not only do the technical analysis, but also to support startups and other companies to deploy their projects and possibilities into our operations. Next slide, please. So we are located basically in Brazil and Peru. We have a greenfield project around Europe and Americas. In my case, I'm in Brazil, but we're presenting a challenge applied to Peru and Brazil. Next slide, please. Starting with the first challenge, decarbonization is an important matter at Nexa. As diesel present is an important driver cost to our mining operations, and also is responsible for a relevant part of the greenhouse gas emission. So in order to mitigate the costs based on diesel and also reduce and curb the carbon emissions, we're looking for solutions that can be applied not only in underground vehicles, but in on-road trucks. So starting with the underground vehicles, just to giving you an overview. Next slide, please. Our mines are all underground operations. So our vehicles access the mine through a ramp, and we have development and ore extraction processes. So the main vehicles that consumes diesel are the off-road trucks and the scoops. On-road trucks, we're talking to the transportation of ore through our smelting units. So next slide, please. In underground vehicles, we have two classes that represent the higher levels of diesel consumption, which are the scoops and off-road trucks. So overall, Nexa has 38 scoops between Brazil and Peru, and 22 trucks. Both vehicles consume their diesel consumption is around 20 or 30 liters per hour on average. We listed to you the brands and the models that are used in our processes, and on average, we're consuming 6.2 millions of liters per year, which represents 15,000 tons of carbon dioxide per year of greenhouse gas emissions all the years. In this case, we're looking specifically to solutions that decrease in a relevant way the diesel consumption, at least by 10% or more, or around this number. And we're not looking for solutions that impact on the warranty or voiding the warranty or affecting the useful life of the engine. And a second item that we're not looking for at this moment is that solutions that means software routines. We're looking for innovative solutions of hardware and software. And also, to validate these solutions, there are some features of our minings that are very specifically, such as moisture in the environment, dust, vibration, high temperatures, remembering that we're going 800 meters underground, a limited space. So we try to give you an overview of what you may face when you try to apply the solutions in our fleet. The next slide, please. The second part of the challenge is on road. So as a supply chain, we demand trucks and lorries to transport ore and other raw materials used in our operations. And the diesel impact is the same. So it's the same technology, it affects our cost driver. So we're working to integrate it with our contractors to decrease the emissions and try out new solutions in order to improve the environmental. So we would like also to try out new solutions based on diesel reduction and greenhouse gas emissions. And in this case, the overall fleet in Brazil and Peru is around 500 trucks. We have been carried out studies in Brazil and Peru with different technologies such as either hydrogen, biodiesel, and alternative fuels. And on average, their diesel consumption is around 0.5 liters per kilometer. And the distance that these trucks are moving are listed in one of the tables listed below. And the annual diesel consumption of this overall fleet is around almost 20 millions of liters, which represents 45,000 tons of carbon dioxide. Next slide.
So good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to present you our productive and safety challenge. First of all, my name is Rodrigo Viana, and I work here in Nexa as an innovation engineer. So basically, in this problem, the main challenge that we have is on how to make fast and accurate decisions based on the variations that we may have in our process parameters. So we look for solutions that will help us to achieve the targeted production that we have. Giving you a very fast summarizing. Sheldon, could you please pass to the next slide, please? So the main question that we have is how we can predict our zinc production based on the current parameters that we have in our process. Here we have the traditional route abstraction from zinc. That is the hydrometallurgical process. So we receive the sulfide zinc concentrate after the mining stages. The first stage that we have in the smelting plant is the roasting, when we are going to transform the zinc, the sulfide zinc, into zinc oxide. After that, we go through a leaching stage. So we are going to extract the zinc from this oxide to the solution. And after some solution purification process, we are going to the electrowinning stage, where we are going to transform the zinc inside the solution to zinc metallic. A thing that is very important to highlight in here, in the leaching stage, in the electrowinning stage, we have a very aggressive environment, because it's necessary to use sulfuric acid to extract the zinc from the oxide to have it in a aqueous solutions. So after the electrowinning stage, we are going to the foundry state of the process, where we're going to smelt the zinc and put it in the moldings to make the ingots and the other shapes that we may need to sell to our clients. And a little, to give it another click, Sheldon. The solutions that we are looking for with this challenge are going to be focused on these three main stages of the process: on the roasting, in the leaching, or in the electrowinning stage of the process. So we're looking to support hardwares and softwares that will support us on the decision-making process on how and when we should adapt our parameter process to achieve our main production target, or even to increase it. Could you pass 3 more times, Sheldon? So here's a very summarizing what we're looking for. So it's a online tracking, not only of the zinc concentration in the solution, but of the contaminants that will affect our parameter process, and also in advising and support decision making to increase our productivity. Problems that we may face in a proof of concept. The first one is the highly corrosive environment that I'm explaining to you. So hardwares that it would be needed to achieve to collect those informations, the zinc, pH, zinc concentration, copper, lead, and pH from the process. They must be resistant to the corrosive environment. And we also have to highlight that the historical data from the process may not be that much available, because the data that any software may need sometimes would have to be treated, and we don't have it as the way it is needed. And the main KPIs that we would have in this a proof of concept to this challenge would be the amount, the increasing of the zinc recovery, and also the zinc consumption, and having a support that will help us to, for example, reduce the energy consumption through the process. It would be very interesting. And another one, Sheldon, please. And we are not looking for solutions that are only based in softwares. We are looking for a combined solution from hardwares that will help us to acquire those informations in this corrosive environment, with softwares that will help us will give us this support that we are looking for. And that's all from the part of Nexa. Thank you, Sheldon.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for that, Rodrigo and Cal. A really great overview there of the 2 challenges. And as mentioned, if you have any questions there for Nexa, please use that Q&A box. Before we do get to the questions, I will just provide an overview of the submission process and the schedule. Right, so next slide, please. So the Global Mining Challenge is designed to identify and develop solutions in a quick open innovation process So the total process from the challenge being published to a winning solution being chosen is usually no longer than 10 to 14 weeks. In phase one, Osmine invites interested suppliers to submit a short form proposal, which provides general details of a conceptual solution for the challenge. The submission form should take no longer than 15 minutes to complete, and a link to each of these challenges can be found on the Osmine website under international opportunities. Following the submission deadline, which in the case of the Peru market will be on the 10th of March, Osmine and our mining partners will review the short form proposals and shortlist companies to move to phase 2 of the process. All successful and unsuccessful companies will receive a communication from Osmine regarding their submission to conclude phase 1. Next slide, please. In phase 2, the shortlisted companies are invited to a technical workshop with the mining partners and to gain further information about the challenge and participate in Q&A. This helps to form an updated solution proposal for the pitching sessions, which then allows companies to have 10 minutes to present their solutions and to gain direct feedback from the mining companies. At this point, we undertake a final shortlisting and a group of companies are selected to go to the final phase of the project. Next slide, please. In the final phase, the shortlisted companies are invited to provide a more detailed proposal for the challenge, usually outlining how the solution would be implemented, project timelines, costs, resources required, and other items. The final proposals are reviewed by the mining companies and a winning solution or multiple solutions are selected. The winning company then engaged directly and finalized commercial terms or progress to a pilot project or technology implementation. Now, it's important to know throughout this whole process that your solutions are confidential and just will be reviewed by Osmine and the mining company. Next slide, please. So for the Peru challenges, which are currently open for short form submissions, they are open until Friday, the 10th of March, allowing about 5 weeks to put forward your ideas and concepts. The subsequent phases are expected to take place throughout March and April, but please note that sometimes timelines do vary depending on responses received and also the bandwidth of our partners for the challenges. Next slide, please. So it is now time for the audience Q&A part of today's session. So I would like to now open the floor, and we have had some questions come through which have been answered. So I'll start with those ones to make sure that everyone on the line can hear them. So a question here from Jane for Haida. So what are the ore grades you were looking to recover? So Lewis from Goldfields, this is relating to the Goldfields challenge. So Lewis has followed up to say that the CST tailings have 1 to 3% of gold grade, and they expect 70% of gold recovery in the process. There's a secondary question on Goldfields as well. So can we have the tailings and waste rock chemical and mineralogical properties for both projects? So Lewis has said they do have that information. So Lewis, is that possible that we could share that following the webinar?
Yes, Sheldon, of course.
Yes, perfect. So to answer your question there, Charles, yes, we can share that information. I might open this next question to the floor, but I noticed that Louise has put a response to it. So in providing solutions to these challenges, will we work directly with the mining companies or should we seek to partner with local suppliers too? Now, Louise has put forward a response there in writing, saying it depends on the supplier. Preferably to work directly, but understand that there's sometimes needs to be tests performed in Peru. I will just ask the other mining organizations, any advice there for Australian companies on potentially working with a local partner, or Pamela as well, as you have some experience here.
No, I am very aligned with what Luis has written in the chat, but I am going to ask William. William, en el caso de Poderosa, ¿se espera trabajar con algún partner local o directamente con la empresa australiana y si hay algún tipo de recomendación al respecto?
No, en realidad no, Pamela, se podría pues ver si es que ellos consideran que es más favorable, más conveniente para ellos un partner local a la solución que propongan, no habría inconveniente, creo, ¿no? Yo creo que
They
sería
do-
parte de la solución.
they do not have any inconvenience in working directly or with a partner. In the case you need a local partner, as a hub, we can help also, but that depends on the Met.
Excellent. And just to follow up there, in Osman's experience with these challenges, if you can't provide a full scope, or if you do think you need support in, I guess, accessing the Peruvian market, we can assist in providing some links to local partners, and also, local governments, also governments such as Austrade and other associations active in the market. So there is also that advice that we can provide. Coming to a question here for Rodrigo from Nexa. So can you provide PFDs for the zinc refinery?
All right. Now, in this stage, we cannot provide the PFT, but the main support that I advise you to have to write the proposal. We follow the typical hydrometallurgical process for zinc extraction. So the stages that I presented to you, they're a standard for the hydrometallurgical process. Like mainly 80-90% of the zinc produced in the world is through this state with this route of extraction. So you may look for academic articles and papers that will help you to have those kind of information.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Rodrigo. A question coming through regarding the value from waste rock, so the Poderosa Mining Company Challenge. So Pamela, I'll address this to you, but feel free to ask William. So is the focus on extracting residual metal value from the waste rock and or repurposing waste rock, for example, measuring mitigating potential acid generation?
William, están preguntando si el valor que quieren obtener del desmonte se enfoca en extraer material, o sea, mineral que queda en este desmonte y o poder reusar el desmonte, por ejemplo, mitigando una potencial generación de aguas ácidas, de ácido.
Sí, no, en realidad ya es material que no tiene mineral el que se estaría utilizando y no iría por ahí la solución, sino que sería ver qué otras alternativas se pueden dar, ¿no? Y sí se tiene una caracterización que se compartió con Sheldon también de la relación de la composición de estos materiales.
Okay, Sheldon, William shared with you the chemical and mineralogy characterization that would help, but in summary, this waste rock has no mineral. So the idea is to have a use, to use it in some way that is valuable for the company or in the ecosystem, to add value to that waste.
Yeah, perfect. So just to reiterate there, Gary, for your question, on the challenge page on the website, there's more information there about the properties of the waste material. But as mentioned, there's no metal residual value in them. So have a look at that report that you can download on the page, and that will provide you with all of those details. Okay, so that's currently all the questions that we have. If you do have any questions in follow-up, or if you would like to request some more information from our presenters, please do get in touch. Next slide, please. If you want to get in touch with the team at Osmine, you can find our details there on this slide. So our international team is made up of myself, Robert, and Jolene, and we'll be more than happy to assist and help guide you through the process. Next slide, please. So I would like to thank everyone who's attended the webinar today and hope that you gained some valuable insights for these supply opportunities. A reminder that the closing dates for submissions is Friday, the 10th of March, 2023. A big thank you to our friends in Peru for partnering with Osmine on this initiative. So to Goldfields, Nexa, and Poderosa. And of course, a very big thank you to Pamela and her team at the Peru Mining Innovation Hub, who are a great partner of AustMine, and we look forward to working together further in the future. So thanks again, everyone, for attending, and we'll see you at the next AustMine webinar. Thank you.